Let's go to YouTube. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Um, so today's video, if I can find my dang hat, today's video is obviously about the. I'm having trouble with the thumbnails. I can't really find a specific thumbnail because every thumbnail that I do get, it's which you like. It doesn't fit the picture. So um, so yeah. Um, but anyways, we're gonna be talking about the New York Giants today. Um, we're gonna be talking about the New York Giants today and how they can bounce back from that ugly debacle Sunday. Um, Now, if I can find my tablet, so okay, so let's figure this out, right? The Giants are going on the road to face the Arizona Cardinals. Damn, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, not Yu-Gi-Oh, but Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. Um, yeah, so the Giants are going to be facing the Arizona Cardinals Sunday. Um, and a part of me wants the Giants to win, right? Because if you look at the Giants, they're at the Cardinals, right? And then they're at the 49ers. This is not a trick game, even though everything is pointing towards the Arizona Cardinals. If you look at the Arizona Cardinal versus the New York Giants all time, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Now, it says it right here. Okay, let me dim it down a little bit because I only got like 10 seconds left. Not 10 seconds, but 10 minutes left on this. So the Arizona Cardinals versus the New York Giants all time. This is all time. So this is how many times they faced. The following is a list of all regular season and postseason games between the Arizona Cardinals and the New York Giants. The Cardinals and the Giants rivalry has been played 128 times, with the Arizona Cardinals only winning 46 games and two ties, obviously. I still don't know why they have ties in the NFL. Because when I first watched the NFL, I thought ties, because you had wins, losses, and ties, right? I thought the ties was meant for like tiebreakers. Like when you have a tiebreaker over your division rival, that's what I thought it meant when I first watched the NFL. But I don't know why they have ties. Ties doesn't really solve anything, which is stupid, but it is what it is. Hopefully one day the NFL can remove that crap and take a page out of the college playbook. You don't have to drop the length down the field. Just start at your own goal line, Because I was watching Colorado and Colorado State going at it, and it was a doozy. 2 overtimes, crazy win. So yeah, the Cardinals and the Giants have played 128 times, with the Arizona Cardinals winning 46 games and the New York Giants winning 80 games. They also have two ties. They have also tied 2 times, I should say. Okay. So if you go back and look, I'm gonna start at nine. All right, I'm gonna start at 2000. Okay, 2000. September 3rd, 2000. The Giants lost. No, the Giants won 24 to. No, yeah, the Arizona Cardinals lost 21 to 16. And then they faced again at around 2009. Yeah, they faced around 2009, and the Cardinals won it. The Cardinals won it 24 to 17. Their last meeting was last year. The Giants have won three of their meetings. The Giants have won 2014, 2017, 2019, and 2020. So, and actually, the Arizona Cardinals, the last one was last, no, yeah, they won December 13th, 2020. The Arizona Cardinals beat the Giants 26 to 7. 2019, the Arizona Cardinals beat the Giants 27 to 21. 2017, the Arizona Cardinals shut out the Giants 23 to nothing. 2014, the Arizona Cardinals beat the Giants 25 to 14. 2011, that's when we were all at our peak, right? The New York Giants beat the Cardinals 31 to 27. So yeah, but those teams were different, obviously. Um, because this can get real ugly real fast. Um, the Sharks, they want the Giants to win, right? They want the Giants to win. Um, the Giants are favored to win that game. Um, yeah, the match predictor is at dang. The match predictor is at 64.7 for the Giants and 35.1 for the Cardinals. Aziz Ojulari is doubtful. Wanda Robinson is doubtful, and Andrew Thomas is questionable. These are the injuries. Buda Baker, safety is questionable. Josh Woods, linebacker, he's out. Fotu, defensive tackle, he's questionable. And uh, LJ Collar is out, is on IR. So this was the stats. This was the stats for both opposing teams, right? If you look at the quarterback position, you got Josh Dobbs versus Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones completed 15 out of 28, 104 yards, two interceptions. Josh, Josh Dobbs finished 21 out of 30, 132 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. If you look at the rushing game, Saquon Barkley ran the ball 12 carries for 51 yards. James Conner ran the ball 14 carries for 62 yards. Okay, if you look at their receiving core, Darren Waller had 3 receptions for 36 yards. Moore had 3 receptions for 33 yards. Okay. And if you look at the total yards, the Giants had 218.7, I mean 0, while the Arizona Cardinals had 228.0. Passing, yards passing, the Giants had 110, the Cardinals had 132. Rushing, the Giants had 108, the Cardinals had 96. Yards allowed, passing yards allowed, the Giants gave up 226 yards, uh, and the Cardinals gave up 294.0. Rushing yards, the Giants had, rush yards allowed, the Giants had 122 to Cardinals 92. So the Giants gave up more big gashes on the ground than the Arizona Cardinals. The only way you could beat this team is by throwing the ball because they're not really good. You know, when you look at pass yards allowed, the Arizona Cardinals gave up 220, no, 202.0, while the Giants only gave up 143. Both of them are bad, but the Arizona Cardinals had the worst stick. Um, yeah, I mean, something is going to have to give. The Giants are favorite in this game, which the Giants were favorite against the Cowboys, and look how that turned out. Like I said in my other video, when the Giants are favored, they don't necessarily particularly do well. Um, they paid Daniel Jones all this money for him to perform like that. Like I can't remember the last time Eli Manning played this poorly against the Cowboys. It was always competitive against the Cowboys. Eli Manning was always competitive against the Cowboys. He always dog walked the Redskins at the time until they got RG3 and then made a little bit of noise. But Eli Manning always used to own the Redskins at the time. The Eagles always had Eli's number, except for that 2011 season where they went to Philly and they won with Victor Cruz. Avoiding 2 tackles, and that's the only time I believe that we won. We won some other times, but I forgot which games it was. But the Cowboys, Eli always played competitive against the Cowboys. Like I can't remember the time where the Cowboys shut out the Giants like this. It's crazy, right? And most people are like questioning Daniel Jones. Is he the guy? Can we really put our faith and trust in him? Knowing that he was a 6th-round draft pick. Hell, Tom Brady was a 7th-round draft pick, and obviously he turned out to be, the golden boy of the NFL. But can they actually put it together and win? Because if they don't win, it could get ugly real quick. And I don't think the 49ers are going to take it easy on us neither. So we would rather win today, short week, and then get ready for Thursday night football. Once again, Daniel Jones does not show up in big games. He's like Kirk Cousins, I don't know how many times you have to tell. That's your quarterback. My quarterback was always Eli. I never had faith in Daniel Jones, not one. I did say he was going to have a breakout year, and he freaking goes out there and lays an egg on national TV. So I'm going to take back what I say. Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. I don't know what Dave Gettleman saw in Daniel Jones, but he's not it. And if we have a piss poor season this year, then you know what? We can draft a quarterback. If we land one of those top 3 picks, we're gonna draft a quarterback. I promise you that we're gonna draft a quarterback because it doesn't make any sense, you know. And we don't want to be the Jets. We don't want to be the Commanders always shuffling, or even the Browns. I don't think Watson is going to be there for long. Like we don't want to be those teams reshuffling quarterbacks each and every year. You know what I'm saying? Um, but if Brian Dable and Joe Shane find their quarterback in this draft, which next year is going to be quarterback heavy, they're looking at next year like, damn, if we could suck this year, we could grab one of these quarterbacks that's gonna change this franchise. It's like they're gonna be playing Madden all over again. Connect the franchise. Find a diamond in the rough type of quarterback. A quarterback that won't make mistakes, that can handle the pressure, that won't fall like a cheap tent. Because Daniel Jones have never been in this position before. Last year it was a blur. I mean, if you really look at last year, I'm not going to take credit. What they did last year was phenomenal. They won one playoff game. I knew they stood no chance against the Eagles. A lot of Giants fans want to convince themselves that, oh, we could beat the Eagles. And then they lay an egg on the biggest stage. We were just not good. We're not good then. We're not good now. So the teams that we face outside of our division, we can beat them. But if it's the Eagles, the Cowboys, we struggle against them. Why? Because of personnel. The Giants don't have a good personnel. They really don't. The linebackers are not developing. The edge rushers is not getting to the quarterback. I mean, I said this was way before, they switched. Like, why would you switch to a 3-4? Like a 3-4, you need a lot of linebackers. A lot. Teams that can get away with it, it's Miami. It's Baltimore. It's the Ravens. Those teams had historic great linebackers. Yeah, we had ours too in Lawrence Taylor, but he was an outside linebacker, but he was still considered a linebacker. He just played on the weak side. But that's when we was great, when we had the crunch bunch, with Carson and Harry and Lawrence Taylor and stuff like that. But we were supposed to draft Michael Parsons. If you look at that draft, we were supposed to draft Michael Parsons. We passed up on him. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Because I want to see where the Giants were at when they picked Michael Parsons. Alexa, what draft class was Michael Parsons in?
In the 2021 NFL Draft, Micah Parsons was drafted 12th overall by the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, so the 2021. Okay, so where were we picking in 2021 though? Oh yes, we picked Kadarius Toney. Okay. All right, so first round, pick number 19. No, pick number 20. We picked Kadarius Toney out of Florida, who did not pan out at all. Pick number 2, we picked Azeez Ojulari, linebacker out of Georgia. Round 3, we picked Aaron Robinson out of Central Florida. Round 4, we picked Smith, outside linebacker. With the 6th pick, we picked Gary Brightwell, who's still on the team. We had another 6th pick. We picked Rondarius Williams, cornerback out of Oklahoma State. So if you look at this draft class, it was a bust. None of these dudes panned out. Tony didn't pan out. Azeez Ojulari still on his team, but he's looking like a bust. Aaron Robinson didn't pan out. Smith didn't pan out. Brightwell is still on the team. I don't know why. Rondarius Williams, he didn't pan out. It was like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. We literally passed up on like, can you imagine what the tools, with the plays that we had, plus Michael Parsons? I mean, Michael Parsons could have elevated this team. Okay, so we all know that Trevor Lawrence had the Jaguars had their first pick. They picked the quarterback. So the Dallas Cowboys picked at number 19. No, at number 12. My bad. And the Giants was all the way down at number 20. So if the Giants really liked Michael Parsons, they could have traded up. They could have traded down to get Michael Parsons or Devontae Smith. Eagles had the 10th pick in the draft that year. They picked Devontae Smith. The Cowboys picked Michael Parsons, and the Washington Commanders picked Jamian Davis, linebacker out of Kentucky. And then obviously the Giants picked Kadarius Toney, which was not a good idea. But they didn't know it at the time, So, yeah, the Giants could have easily traded down. Okay, we want the 20th pick. Just like how they did for Landon Collins. Remember when they traded down for Landon Collins? Same thing with Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons traded down to get Julio Jones, and it paid off for him. It paid off for them, But, I mean, obviously, it is what it is. What my predictions are for the game. I mean, at this point, obviously the Giants are tanking. And I know Giants fans don't want to hear that. Wait a minute. We're tanking? How? Like I said before, man, Daniel Jones is not it. They had no choice but to pay him. They're not going to put their trust in Tyrod Taylor. They're not going to put their trust in DeVito Smith. So they have to pay him. It's not like they can chop a quarterback off the street or sign a quarterback, and then that quarterback is going to have to learn a new playbook. You know what I'm saying? Or it's not like they could get Colin Kaepernick or Tom Brady out of retirement. So they had to do what they had to do, and they had to pay Daniel Jones, which I think that they should have done the opposite. I think they should have paid Saquon Barkley, franchise tag Daniel Jones for another year, see how he does this year. And, if they don't like it, they could just move on, trade him to another team, get valuable assets for him. And, they could pick their quarterback. Because, again, Daniel Jones is not Brian Daboll's and Joe Shane's pick. That was Ratburn, Dave Gettleman's pick, right? Kadarius Toney, that was Dave Gettleman's pick. Saquon Barkley, that was Dave Gettleman's pick. This year's draft or when was the draft? March, April? That draft was all Joe Shane and Brian Dable. The Kayvon Thibodeau, the Andrew Thomas, the Evan Neal. Like the Giants never had a great track record of drafting. I think they just hit and miss a lot, or they just miss a lot. Because since Odell Beckham Jr., the Giants have not drafted one good player. Since they drafted Odell Beckham Jr., they have not had one good player. Pritchard Mokamara, he was in it. Hakeem Nicks, he was it, but he got injured a lot. But you know what? When it was time to play, he gave you all he got. That's why I always respected Hakeem Nicks because, yeah, he got injured a lot, but when he was healthy, he could show you what he did, and he had that breakaway. He had that breakout season around 2010. And then obviously he won one Super Bowl with us. So, but he made some good plays. He was very productive when he was healthy. Same thing with Victor Cruz. Victor Cruz, when he was healthy and productive, he was balling, So it is what it is, man. I mean, this team is a head scratcher. You would have thought this offensive lineman would have been fixed, and that was all on Jerry Reese's plate because he knew that he had to fix this offensive line. Instead of going for David Wilson, instead of going for Prince Mukamara, instead of going for Odell Beckham Jr., Ruben Randall, he could have fixed the offensive line year after year after year, just like how the Cowboys were in 2014, where they was clowning them, the Great Wall of China, anybody can run through that offensive line, and it was true. The Cowboys had like 4 different running backs. They had DeMarco Murray, they had Choice, they had Felix Jones. No, they had Julius Jones. So they had a pretty good core of running backs. Same thing with the Giants when they had Earth, Wind, and Fire, Bradshaw, Jacobs, and Ward. They had a great offensive line. But when that offensive line deteriorates and you don't retool and you don't find ways to keep up with the offensive line is what you have right now. So that's the Giants' fault for going out their way and picking against the grind. They should have just picked offensive linemen. Okay, yeah, they picked 2, Eric Flowers and Justin Pugh. Those 2 didn't hit. Okay, and then I remember the 2011 season when Sean O'Hara, I believe, retired. After the 2011 season, we had to sign David Bass, the center out of 49ers, which he did pretty good for us. I mean, obviously he was no Sean O'Hara, but he was pretty solid. But that whole line just deteriorated, and we just didn't build around it enough. No, we did not build around it enough. So that's the Giants' fault. When the offensive line is deteriorating like that, and everybody's blaming, why is Daniel Jones running for his life? It's because we did not fix the offensive line. We went against what we should have been doing all this time. Because if the Giants had a decent offensive line, Daniel Jones would have all the time to throw the ball. He wouldn't be running for his life like he is right now. So that's on the Giants' fault, not Daniel Jones. Or maybe the Giants are just trying to convince themselves that Daniel Jones is not it. Like we'll let you ball out, we'll let you have this season, but next year is going to be iffy. Depending on where the Giants finish the season, which I already had the Giants taking a step back this year, anyways. The proof is in the pudding. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm never wrong about my Giants. I'm always right about my Giants. And, being a fan since 2004, you can obviously see the proof in the pudding. The Giants are not this offensive juggernaut that everybody thinks they are. Just because they have a lot of weapons doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to use them. Okay. Secondly, they don't have a running game outside of Saquon Barkley. Third, they still don't know who their number one receiver is. So when you have all these mixed issues, it's like, it's dumbfounded. Like Odell. Was Odell really our number one receiver? I mean, just because he was picked first overall doesn't mean that he's a number one receiver. For me, I wanted Mike Evans, because I like my receivers tall, lengthy, that could catch those 50-50 balls. Odell Beckham Jr. was not going to do that. Odell Beckham Jr. used his speed to get away from defenders. Like, yeah, he could run every route on that route tree, but he was like a cheater, like how cheaters are. Like when they go in the wild and they hunt, they use their speed because they know that their speed is the only way to escape predators that's trying to hunt them. You know what I'm saying? Or if they want their food, they know that they have to use their speed to get what they want. Same thing with Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. was not going to get you those 50-50 balls like a Plaxico Burress. What he does best is he beats you with his speed. That's why they always say speed kills. You know what I'm saying? So, but I never viewed him as a number one. He was more of a number two. I viewed Victor Cruz because obviously he's been there, he's done that, he's won a championship with us. So, when Victor Cruz took a backseat to Odell, it was like, it wasn't really the best option, And on top of that, we had Ruben Randall, who obviously was supposed to be our next Plaxico, but he didn't pan out as well. So, and then you got Jalen Hyatt, who was drafted in the third round, Like if the roles were switched, if Banks got drafted in the third round and Jalen Hyatt got drafted in the first round, I don't think the pressure would have been the same. It's gonna take time for him to. Jalen Hyatt is probably a slow development player. Like he's not gonna wow you. Week one. Like it's gonna take time for him to build up. That's why you have coaches. Build him up. Work on his fundamentals, the things that he's doing wrong, whatever. And he can apply that to the game when he's playing. But we'll see. We'll see. Like Tom Coughlin used to say, man, talk is cheap, play the game. All this little chip chat back and forth, all these little stupid stats. Oh, Daniel Jones is have a bounce back year every single game. Every game that, he plays or whatever. Or if he has a bad game, statistically he bounces back. Like, I have no animosity over Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is going to be a great quarterback somewhere else. He just doesn't fit the New York Giants style. He just doesn't, But like I said, we had to pay him because we had no choice. We had no choice. Because I was looking at, I was watching Sports the Entertainer, and he said that, yeah, like what Brian Daboll was doing was dumb. Like, why would you even keep him in the game that long? Like the Cowboys already took out their starters, So why would you even, what I'm saying? Like, you're down 40-0. There's no building momentum, no nothing. If it was a close game, then yeah, you would still put him in the game. You'll still keep him in the game, but you're not going to keep him in the game down 40 points, unless the NFL is going to give you an extra 4 more quarters, But, keeping him in the game was stupid. That was a head coach that obviously doesn't know how to coach. And I know a lot of people are high on Brian Daboll. I never liked the Brian Daboll. I never did. He reminds me of Joe Judge so much that he's starting to coach like Joe Judge. He's not calling the plays. Like, he's giving short and stupid answers. He's not being direct. You know, like when a reporter asks him a question, he dodges them. You know, like he doesn't embrace the question. Like he doesn't say, "Okay, yeah, that was my bad. I did." You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but obviously as a head coach, you can't really throw your players under the bus. So you just have to let them know lie and just, you know, say what you don't want to say. You know what I'm saying? Um, or if a reporter asks, Brian, how come you didn't run the ball more with Saquon Barkley? Well, um, the running game just wasn't it, and we was just forced to pass so many times, and that's where he messed up. Because when your quarterback throws more than 30 to 45 times, that's a disaster. That's why you have to make. That's why you have to have a balance of mixture, passing and running. You know, when the running games gets going, then you can start passing or doing a little play action or screen pass. They have yet to exercise a screen pass. I don't even know that the Giants are good at screen passes or not. I don't think they even have the offensive linemen to do so. You know, that's why they don't necessarily attempt to do screen passes. They did it when Bradshaw and Jacobs was there, but now they just abandoned it because they don't have offensive line like the other teams do. So my prediction is simple. The Giants are going to lose 13 to 27. They're going to go 0-2, and they're going to have to look themselves in the mirror and say, what can we do better? You know, look at tape all you want to. The tape helps, obviously. You know, I'm not going to be these Giants fans where they say, oh, the tape doesn't matter. The tape matters, you know, because obviously a lot of teams do tape. A lot of teams have tape on you, you know, like you don't think the Arizona Cardinals have tape on the Giants? Like, if we can do what the Cowboys did Sunday, then we have a shot to win. Or if we could play within our strength, we have a shot. We have a shot to win because this is going to be their first home opener. I thought they were. I thought the Arizona Cardinals was at home Sunday, but they were actually on the road. So that was my bad. I said on the other video that I posted, I thought the Arizona Cardinals was at home. So this is going to be their official home opener. And the Giants are going back to the scene of the crime where it all started. This is where we won Super Bowl 42. You know, and there's always some magic, luck stuff happening, you know. But we'll see. Like I said, the Cowboys are going to, not the Cowboys, the Arizona Cardinals is going to win 27 to 13. Like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.